everyone. Happy holidays. I hope this video finds you comfortable and healthy, and what else can I say? You know, being in the vintage business for as many years as I have been, I have my list of favorites for whatever reason. And as far as designers go, I would say I have maybe three or four. Paul Poiret, Madeleine Vianney, and Madame Gres. I could do a poem with those names. And Poiret, because of his use of ethnic material, he was kind of the granddaddy of hippie couture. Vianney, because of her awesome construction, her use of the bias, and Madame Gres for her awesome construction as well. She was very much an architectural designer. Years ago, there was an exhibition at the Metropolitan at the Costume, Institute downstairs, and I was lucky enough to be in New York at the time that was happening, and it left such a deep impression on me because clever installation. As you went down the stairs to go to see the exhibit, there were yards and yards and yards and yards of, I think it was a silk jersey, and it was to illustrate how many yards were needed to create the plissé, the pleats in the bodice. She was a modern Grecian designer, and the female form, she knew how to show it. This beautiful color-blocked drop-waist sheath dress with heavily gathered color-block silk taffeta is Madame Gres. I'm not sure what year. It's in beautiful condition. It's definitely museum worthy. And then this one is also a sheath bodice, drop waist, but what's awesome about this is it has variation on the hem. So it goes from short on the side to the peak in the center. I don't really consider these wearables because silk taffeta, especially black silk taffeta, is notorious for shattering with body perspiration and whatever. So I've said this before, you don't wear a Picasso, and these are masterpieces. So it's not the best of the best of the best of Madame Gres, but they're pretty awesome. Madame Gres, when she started her career, was known as Alix, A-L-I-X, and she's revered in the industry for so many reasons. The first is she didn't compromise. When trends came with like big shoulder pads in the 80s, she didn't go in that direction. Her aesthetics were her signature and her DNA. During World War II, the Nazis wanted the couturiers to open to design for the Germans, but Madame Gres wouldn't compromise. Her designs were very French, and that was on purpose so that the Germans wouldn't, buy her pieces. So she was also known as the Sphinx of Fashion, and there's a quote that said she was more Garbo than Garbo because she was so private. There's a huge controversy with Madame Gres at the very end of her career. Apparently, the business of fashion is very expensive, and at the very end, they weren't able to maintain, and they ended up having to go bankrupt, but they kept it quiet because the Metropolitan was planning on this really big retrospective of her work, and they didn't want the financial affairs to impact whether or not Metropolitan would follow through on the exhibition. And so the controversy happened at the opening because they were all hoping and expecting Madame Gres to come At that point, she was 89 or 90, or she would have been. And it's unbelievable. Her daughter kept secret for over a year that Madame Gres had passed away. So, of course, she couldn't show up at the opening. And once again, that information was kept secret so it wouldn't impact whether or not the Metropolitan Museum would have their exhibition. So, kind of makes for an interesting story, but I mean, it's so sad. But regardless, her pieces transcend time. They are works of art. And if you're lucky enough to have the plissé jersey pieces and you have the form to be able to wear it where it's breathtakingly beautiful, fantastic. I've had several of those in my career. But I'm going to say at this point, I'm really hoping that there's one piece coming up that is a masterpiece. And there are other versions of it in museums, and I'm hoping the one that I have ends up in a museum because it really is worthy. So we got this incredible dress on the mannequin, and I say this may be the 10th wonder of the world, because if you look at the construction to create this voluminous sleeve, it's pretty incredible, actually. And I would imagine it's a dress, a gown that you would have to wear with assistance because you can't eat. The sleeve would go into your plate. And it is definitely a monastic silhouette, but it's so gorgeous. It really is gorgeous to look at. The taffeta is hardy. There's no evidence of shattering. And for those of you that don't know what shattering means, disintegration, and it's a breakdown of the fabric where it just literally falls apart. Yeah, this is the pièce de résistance. And if you do a Google search on Madame Gres, you can see the Metropolitan Museum has this dress, this gown in chocolate brown, and it's from 1969. The antithesis of a mini dress. Curious enough, versions of this gown were in the 2018 exhibit at the Metropolitan entitled Heavenly Bodies. And it was, they had it at the Met, you know, the downstairs, but then at the cloisters is where versions of this gown were. So that's it for this episode. Just 3 fabulous pieces. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And we're slowly inching to the 50,000 subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber, please do so and help us get past the finish line. So in closing, I want to say we're very close to the end of the year. 2020 has been a challenge for pretty much every breathing human on this planet. And from my heart to you, I say that 2021, the theme should be kindness and decency. And if we can pay it forward in that way, I think things will be better for all of us. So, wishing you all the best, and thank you very much for watching.